The Gemara discusses, compares saying Shema in its time, and it aligns it with different times of eating. Why? Yesh lomar, to show us Kriyat Shema dugmat achila luguf, that the Shema, the same way that our eating nourishes our physical body, the Shema nourishes our spiritual self. That's what gives the chiyut. That's what gives the life. You say that a mitzvah gives life to a person. The body, a person is finite. It's physical, right? It dies, right? But kiddishanu v'mitzvotav, you sanctify us with a mitzvah. By doing a mitzvah, we involve our body in godliness, in godly acts, in a mitzvah, which is eternal. And that's how we, finite, material, physical beings, can connect ourselves to this eternity, to this nitzchius. Just lastly, the Shema is found in the mezuzot. As we say in the Shema, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, you should write these words on the mezuzot of your houses and of your house and your gates. Every mezuzah has the first two paragraphs of Shema as they are in the Torah, without Baruch Shem Kavod, as they are in the Torah, written in them. The Rambam, source number 18, explains the idea, and the Rambam, Maimonides, writes, one must be very careful with mezuzah. Chovat hakol tamid. It's an obligation always on every person. That whenever we enter our house, whenever we leave our house, yipaga, we encounter and we concentrate. B'yichud Hashem Shmo Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We concentrate on Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. V'yizkor avato, and we remember His love for us. V'yar mishnato, and that will wake us up from our sleep, our slumber. V'shigiotav, and our mistakes. B'avlei azman, our over-involvement in the nonsense of the day. V'yeda, and we'll remember she'ein davar omeid la'olam la'omei olamim. There's nothing that stands for eternity, that stands eternally, el yidiat tzur ha'olam, besides the knowledge of God. So I leave my house to go out into the great big world. I remember Hashem Echad. I've got to be honest. I've got to treat everybody correctly. I've got to utilize my time. I come back in. I don't drag all of the baggage from the day into the home, into my family. I recognize Hashem Echad. That is that reminder, right? When we enter and when we leave. They are also found in our tefillin. The tefillin has 4 parshiot in them. It has the 4 places in the Torah where tefillin are mentioned in the Torah. And of course, 2 of those 4 are the first 2 paragraphs of the Shema, where we speak about the ot al yadecha, the sign on your hand, and totafot, bein einecha, and the totafot, between your eyes. On that, Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan, in his Tefillin book, writes, have you ever felt so close to another human being that every moment together was precious? Every letter, momentum of that person was something to be treasured. This person gave you a meaningful gift. Every time you looked at it or used it, you'll be reminded of that special relationship. Tefillin are a sign of the bond of love between God and mankind. Faith and love are very tenuous things. We can speak of them and think about them, but unless we do something about them, we tend to forget. Tefillin serve to help us remember. This is a constant theme. In Judaism, we do our mitzvot. We've got to physically involve ourselves in order to have it be internalized. Right? We don't just believe in God as a creator. We do our belief in God as a creator by observing the Shabbat. And we cease to do these creative activities as our testimony that God ceased to create on the 7th day. We have to do it. Because faith and love, as he says, are very tenuous. Unless we do something, we tend to forget. If you'd open up a pair of tefillin, you'd find they contain 4 parchments. One of these parchments consists of the famous Shema. Listen, accept, internalize, know. Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Tefillin concretizes for us that God created the universe, orchestrates world history, and is intimately involved with our daily lives. Okay? So that's what we have. Our tefillin is that concrete sense of it. The essence of the Torah and its commandments, mitzvot in Hebrew. The essence of the Torah is its commandments, mitzvot. The word mitzvah comes from the root meaning to bind. Every commandment of mitzvah serves to draw us close to God and strengthen this connection. With every mitzvah, we forge a spiritual bond with God. Do we see that bond? No. In the case of tefillin, the bond is physical as well as spiritual. Tefillin, we wrap ourselves in the Shema. We wrap ourselves in God's name. We have the shin on the tefillin sharos. The dalid is on the knots by the back of the head tefillin. The yud is by the arm tefillin. We're wrapping ourselves in God's name. Every mitzvah we wrap ourselves. But the mitzvah that demonstrates that we are surrounded, enveloped, encompassed, hugged by God every time we do a mitzvah, that is manifested, demonstrated by the tefillin. We literally bind God's love symbols to our bodies. Thus, our sages teach us that the command of tefillin encompasses all others. Here we actually see and feel the bond that takes place in a spiritual sense with every mitzvah. And with the tefillin, we take this belief and we put it onto our heads. That is our mind. That is our intellect. And we put it on our upper arm next to the heart. That is our emotion, our passion. And we wrap it around our arm. That is our actions, what we do. So it's what we know intellectually, what we feel emotionally, and we can't just talk the talk, we have to walk the walk. And it's what we actually then, our hands, our arms, that which we do. Yes, Chai?
No, I was just going to say, when you said so we won't forget, we're actually participating. It's a participating at oneness with spiritual expansion. We're also helping the world come closer to what God wants. It's a participation.
Yes.
And not just to remember, or we might forget,
but to actively.
So we are actually actively participating in bringing God closer. It's more evident in the world.
Yeah.
I think it's a better deal than.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
a
better.
It's a partnering.
Partnering, yes, yeah. And I think that's what an important aspect of Judaism is, that we partner in it.
Yeah.
And
Na'aseh Adam. Na'aseh Adam, let us make man.
Yeah.
Us.
Right. Yeah.
We got to make ourselves. Yes, Dave.
Shema, if the ayin turns into some other letter, it means it comes out reading perhaps, and I forgot what the other letter is, that the ayin might be changed into.
Oh, Shema, with an aleph.
So it's not
That's interesting. So you want to say similar to the dalid, echad can become acher,
yeah.
the shema, you don't want it to become shema, perhaps. Or shama, there. Interesting.
Is it possible?
Okay, we'll call it. Rick, you mind just hitting the stop button on that, Rick? Thanks.
Rabbi, is it possible to get a copy of all of them?
Yeah.
I think I missed.
Let me know which one you need.
I would like a set.